Hello. Today we will be discussing about how to create a purchase requisition. We will also see the fields which are necessary or mandatory to give data to create a PR. So we will discuss on the screen of the PR and the fields which are required and what are the purpose of the fields. So let's go and create a PR. The T code is ME51N. 51 is for create, 52 is for changing a PR to an existing PR, and if you want to display a PR, that would be ME53N. So while we need to create a PR, so we will go to ME51N. So this is the screen of the purchase requisition. Uh, if you are creating a PR, changing a PR, or displaying a PR, the screen will remain same. So let's discuss about how we can create a PR in a much detailed uh, information, the fields which are available for input. So let's start with the document type. Document type is basically based upon the configuration of the system. If you have configured the document type and assigned the number ranges to it, we can use that. So if you click on this or press the F4 button, it will open up the menu. So let's suppose we are creating a material PR. So we'll select this one, or you can write the ZGNM. That is the code for this for selecting this document type. So you can also type it down, and it will automatically select this option. So let's select this. The item number is the same as we do in the whole system, that for the PR line, for the RFQ line, for the purchase order line, it will always remain 10. This is also a setting that what number interval you will be using. So you can also use 1, 2, 3. You can also use 10, 20, 30. Normally, the system is configured to have a 10 number interval. The reason behind is if you want to add a line between two lines, so it will have 10 number range interval. So if let's suppose you have a line number 10 and line number 20, and if you want to insert 5 lines or 2 lines between these 2 lines, so you can create 11, 12, and 13. So uh, if you uh, provide the data, it will automatically give you the line number, that would be 10. So talking about the account assignment, this is the account assignment field. It is basically the representation that what you need to do uh, with this item based upon the accounting treatment. What type of accounting treatment you need to do? Let's suppose this PR is coming through a cross modular uh, PS or PM, that is project system and plant maintenance, or it can be through PP, that is production planning. So if the PR is generated from there, so it will be denoted by an alphabet that should be known to you. So let's suppose N is used for project systems, for the network, then P for project, Q for project make to order. So these are the three alphabets which is being used by the project system. Uh, the F is basically from the plant maintenance PM module, that is cross function. Whenever the PR is created, it will automatically come through the account assignment F. And the asset is normally used if you want to buy an asset, uh, that would be denoted through letter A. So if we are not using any letter, it means that this material is an inventory related item. normal stock procurement. So it will be denoted by a blank. Okay, so over here, there is one column missing, that is item category. And normally it is always shown next to the account assignment. But if that column is not being shown or not being displayed, let me show you how to enable it. So you'll go in this and go to change layout. So it will give you all the fields which are hidden. Normally these are not being required, so you don't need to display it on the line level. You only required to display only the information you provide in the fields. So let's suppose if you want to enable the item category, you can double click that so it can be dropped over here. But if you want to place it on a specific, uh, let's suppose it's you need to display it just next to the account assignment. So you need to click on item category, then on the account assignment, and press this left button. So it will be automatically be dropped over here just next to account assignment. So you click OK, so it will come over here, right? So what is the item category? Basically, this is the type of procurement you would be doing. Just open it and we will understand what each letter means. So standard is normally the stock item you're procuring, and you need to request for an item that needs to be the part of the inventory. The consignment is basically when you are buying something, placing in the inventory, and that should not be part of your inventory, uh, which means that it will not be part of the of your company books or balance sheet. So whenever you issue a material from the consignment stock, it will be treated as the consumption and never become part of the inventory. So this is just like when you have a retail store. Normally, retail shops don't buy it on cash; they buy it on based upon the consumption, which will be done on a monthly basis or half yearly basis or a quarterly basis. It depends on the business scenario. Subcontracting is denoted by letter A. Whenever you see letter A, it means that there is a component assigned to this material. Let's suppose you need to uh, send a material from your inventory. Let's suppose you need to get something manufactured or tailor made. Let's suppose you have a metallic sheet and you need to convert that into a gasket. So you issue a material from your inventory, uh, which will be assigned in the component area. And if you want to get it manufactured or tailored or converted into a finished good from an external vendor, you issue a component to an external vendor, and it will convert that into a gasket, which should be defined on the item level, right? So you're giving up the component, that is metallic sheet, and it will be converted into a gasket. So the cost of the conversion, that should be defined on the item level. So normally the third party is not used. The stock transfer, that is used for the STO whenever you want to transfer the stock to another place. D is very commonly used for services. The system behaves like when you define the letter D, it will convert itself into a service line item. It will open up a service tab where you will be defining the service codes and the quantity required. It can be in terms of man hour, or it can be a quantity, and you will provide the unit price. So let's suppose we will be convert that to uh, we will use the standard one, that is the blank one, and that is for item for the inventory, right? So we will open this. We need to select the material. Either you need to create this small box which is appearing next, just enter the material code, or you can press F4 for browsing. So let's suppose we have a plant. This screen enables you to search for material. It can be through material number, description, an old material. Let's suppose you have a legacy system and you just have been converted to a new system of SAP. So you can define an old number based upon the legacy number which you are carrying, because the SAP will definitely have a different number. So you can search from here the bill of material, if you have a BOM assigned to it, from a production, that whether if you want to convert, use 3 or 4 components and want to get it converted into a finished good. So this can be done. Let's suppose we will be searching the material with reference to this plant material by description. So it is very necessary that the material is extended to the plant, because it always run on this thing like based upon the plant. Every material should be extended so that it can be selected in the purchase acquisition and for the purchase order. So let's suppose I have a plant 3110, press enter. So these are the materials which is available right now in the system. I'll select this one, press enter. So it will automatically jump to the plant because this is necessary information. I provided 3110 for the selection of the material, and I will give the same number in the item level. Next, the system is asking for the quantity. Let's suppose I need to request for quantity 10. This is a custom made field. Actually, this is a text field which is provided by the SAP. The business requirement was to uh, convert this text field into a drop down and uh, you know make it a mandatory field. So we will provide 144, which I know. So this, whenever the system will give you this triangle orange, it means that PR is ready to be created. And if you want, you can check it by pressing this button. So it will give you that there is no issue in creating this PR. So let's go and discuss other fields which are associated with the item. So the storage location is if whenever you are creating a material master, and in the material master, if you have assigned a specific storage location, uh, this field will be populated, right? So the tracking number, normally inventory, uh, whenever you are creating a PR for the inventory, uh, this field can be used to track down that. Let's suppose if you have run this uh, requirement or created the PR through the MRP and the T code for it, MD01N. If you have created that, you can define a number so that it can be tracked down, right? The desired vendor is if the PR creator knows if this item can be bought or refer to a vendor profile that if this item have been procured in the past from this vendor, so the creator can define over here. But this will not do anything or restrict in making further documents like RFQ or purchase order. This is a fixed vendor. We can limit uh, the further documents to be created on the same vendor which is defined over here. So if you press the F4 button, it's a browse button. So it will open up the vendor profile. That is, uh, vendor master data, right? So next, purchasing org is used. It can be done, but normally this field is not maintained uh, in Material Master, so it is not necessary to provide this. Uh, this is maintained on RFQ and purchase order. The one thing which I forgot to tell you, that is the purchasing group. This is coming from Material Master if you have maintained this, and this basically is used for further if you want to divide it uh, between the procurement team, the group of procurement person, or a single person, uh, this field is normally used to differentiate or divide the PR line items into the purchasing groups. Furthermore, this is the agreement number. If a PR line item is being made, which for which the contract or an agreement is already available in the system, so we can define it over here. So the procurement personnel can convert this PR into a purchase order through auto PO. So we can discuss that in the later stage. So this is the PR. Let's discuss the line items details. So this is the material which you have selected, and these are the information which is coming from there. So this is the batch number. If there is a specific batch number, this will be populated over here. This is the material group, which I forgot to tell you this. Uh, okay, let's discuss one by one that what is how the delivery date is being populated and how the material group is populated. So again, material group is part of the material master. Normally, companies, what they do is they define the noun of the material. That is, let's suppose this is a chemical or type of a chemical, acetic. So what company do is define this name into a material group, so the reporting can be done, and it's easy to filter out, or uh, this this is a main area to do the analytics uh, by the procurement or the PR creators, right? The other thing, very important thing, that is the delivery date. How this is automatically been, derived. This is basically based upon the planned delivery time. Whenever you create a PR of this item, the difference between the PR creation date and the GR date, that is the goods receiving date, the time required to procure, get the RFQ done, compare it, get the purchase order done, all the payments done, and then the GR done. So the time required, it will automatically uh, give the delivery date based upon planned delivery date. So let's suppose you have already procured an item, this item, for example, on the same plant, and the time required was 10 days. So whenever you will create a PR of this material code, in the second phase, in the second cycle, it will automatically view 10 days of the delivery time automatically by calculating the planned delivery time. So let's discuss about the other information. This is the quantity you already provided. This is the unit of measure, that is L, that is liters. It is also part of material master whenever you are creating a material master. Over here, the open quantity, because no further document has been made against this item, so this is the open quantity. Whenever you make a purchase order against this item, this number will automatically be uh, changed. Like suppose you created a purchase order of 10 quantities, and whenever you convert this line into a purchase order, it will automatically say 10 quantity has been ordered. Now this line, this closed field, is basically when when you don't want further documents to be created. So if you check this, it will be closed, right? This is the planned delivery time. This is basically if you are procuring it for the first time, it will give you, for example, this is currently giving me 30 days. So right now, if I'm creating a PR line for this material, it actually counted 30 days from today and said that the delivery date would be 4th of April. So this is the delivery date, this is the request date, this is the release date, and no further information is required. So the PR line uh, has a value. This is big, been populated through the the information which has already been stored in system. Let's suppose you have made a procurement before of this material code, and this is the price which is coming from the inventory, and this uh, this is just an information that the material is material has this value in the inventory. So this is just an information that what price you have already bought this. Secondly, these three things. The first one is the goods receipt. uh, it basically tells you that whether the GR is required for this item, means goods receipt is required for this. Same thing that the second box is the invoice receipt. It tells you that whether the payment has to be done against this item. So if you uncheck this, you will be unable to do the invoicing through MIR7, that is invoice parking, or directly the invoice posting. We already discussed about the account assignment. If you have given a blank, it will not populate anything over here because it's an inventory item. Suppose if you have selected the N, P or Q, it will ask for a certain information which is associated with that letter or accounting treatment. Let's go on to the source of supply. If you have a source list available, which is created, normally it is created by the procurement department, that this material is does have a source, a defined source. Normally it has not been changed. uh, if it is a defined source, then you can define it in the system before any activity is done. So let's suppose a PR creator doesn't know that if the source list or an info record or uh, or a contract is available in the system. So whenever the creator will uh, click on this assign source of supply, the system will populate a box that contains the info record, source list, and a contract, and you can select from it that this item is can be a source of procurement, and which is easy for the procurement department to filter out the items based upon this filter. So let's check if there is a source of supply assigned to this material. So let's suppose I have an info record which is already available in the system. Info record is basically an information is stored in a system whenever a purchase order is created against this material. So in this system, I have purchased this material from this vendor, so it has automatically populated the vendor code and the info record, the information of the purchasing information which is stored. Let's go on the status. Status is basically tells you the the current status of this PR line item, whether this has been already converted into an RFQ, into a contract, into a purchase order, uh, every detail, if the further document is created. So this is the thing which a PR creator knows where if he doesn't have uh, all the access or the authorization of the purchasing document reports. So he can check the status of the line from here, whether the RFQ is created or a PO is created or the external contract is created or external RFQ is created, internal contract is created. So something like that. And the order quantity will be updated over here. This is the uh, the field which shows you that it is currently in release, it has not been released. So let's talk about it in detail. That 01 tells you that if you have a version management activated in the current system, so whenever there is an approval or after the approval there is a change, so the version is created that for certain changes has been made. You need to get it checked and saved so that this can be converted into an active. The active is basically it doesn't have any error or uh, this is something which is uh, you know already been released kind of a thing, or it doesn't require a release. For example, you don't have the release strategy available in the system, or you don't have the release strategy available with the current combination of the parameters. So this will be treated as active and that can be further converted into an RFQ or a PO. In release means it is currently in release, and when there is in release, you cannot convert into a further document. For overall release means that uh, this line is available to be released, right? 05 is normally used to filter out because the PR which is released can be converted into an RFQ or a PO. If you uh, take it from the purchasing perspective, whenever the buyer search for the PR line item for which the RFQ needs to be created, so it will always look with the 05 that are released. So the release PRs or release PR lines uh, can be converted and should be converted into a further document. 08 normally if whenever the release personnel is has rejected the PR. Uh, let's suppose I have two release stages, and one has approved it or released it, and the last one or the second one or the final one has rejected that quantity must be 5 or 8 or something like that. So he can reject the release, so it will become in the 08. So the last thing which is very important, that is the release strategy, because currently this system has the PR line wise release strategy, so the release strategy tab come over here. But if uh, the requirement would have been that it doesn't require an item wise release, it requires a document release. So there is a portion that is the header. uh, the release strategy tab would have come over here, and the same release process will be carried out. So I'm releasing this PR. Okay, so this is the basically ladder which uh, this PR line item based upon the quantity or a material group. Based upon that, this requires from to be released from all four members or a ladder uh, in the company. So we will continue from releasing and creating a RFQ in the next video. That's all. I hope you like a very detailed structured overview of the PR. I hope you like it, enjoyed it. Please subscribe to my channel and like my video so that I continue to make this detailed um, informational video. We will also be looking at how to configure these things, for example, a document type, or how to prevent a risk in PR. Normally, people don't give an over that kind of overview in on such videos. We will talking about that in later.